Morning, everyone. It's Tasha Talks to Teens, and today I'm actually offering a message more to the mums of those teens and babies to be. And Mother's Day is, well, it's a neat day to celebrate mums on this planet. But more importantly, I think it's a time to look back at how that relationship starts from the moment of conception. So falling in love with a little munchkin, whether that little person is growing within you or from the phone call that you learn that you're going to have a baby that's coming to your house, it's like magic. It's a biological like light switch that goes off hormonally that makes you fall in love with this little being. And I think it's a really wonderful blessing that babies pop out into this world so cute, because we fall in love with their little sweet self and their little chubby bellies and cute little butts when they're little, because the behavior that you see when they're teenagers isn't always so cute. But if we can think back to those moments, we can appreciate that little person. They're just trying to figure out who they are. And so for mums out there, my message today is really, mums get a yellow rose. To celebrate all that you do for your kids, the long hours, the worrying probably, maybe writing them to do homework. One of the things that I know that's happening is that through COVID-19, about 80% of mums are stepping into the role of being home educators. And even when it comes to domestic duties, that even through this time, when if you're living in a house with two parents, still the onus of all the household stuff, the laundry, the groceries, the making things, picking up socks, still about 80% of it lands on the shoulders of a mom. And I am not trying to be a martyr here. There's a place where I think mums, and maybe this is a message for Mother's Day and beyond, is that we learn how to be as good at setting limits for ourselves as we help our kids and our teenagers and our young adults set limits and boundaries for themselves in their friendships. When does it feel like it's too much? Finding time to, tune into themselves and take care of themselves. That moms are often the glue in families. And so if as a parent you're feeling depleted, you owe it to yourself to show up as the best parent you can be for your kids. And if that means learning how to be a bit selfish, please do it. It's worth it for your kiddos. Hands down, the best gift that you can give your kids is to show up as the healthiest version of yourself. And so mums out there, this is my rose of friendship, because we're kind of in it together. And so people might not know this about me, but I have 3 girls of my own. And so my girls are teenagers. So one is going into grade 10, one's on her way into grade 12, and one will be going to 3rd year of university next year. And so by no means, if you're a psychologist that works with lots of teenagers, does it mean that you have perfect kids? Nope. Does it mean that you have like peaceful communication? Nope. And it doesn't mean that there aren't some complexities that go into relationships. And most definitely, moms and daughters have a really, it's a very tight connected relationship, and it also can have some conflict in it, especially in the teen years, as your young person wants to pull away and gain some independence, and how easy that is for us to kind of let go of the rope, or where do we kind of pull it back in again. So anyways, happy Mother's Day to all you lovely moms out there. And I wanted to change the focus a little bit to talk about and honor, and there's a beautiful purple rose here, single moms. And so I think this is a day more than ever where we really need to pay tribute to all that moms do, especially if they're parenting solo. And so it doesn't mean that there isn't a co-parent in your life, or you might have a new partner in your life, but I mean, the odd person does choose to become a mom or a dad by themselves, but for most people, you create babies with the intention of having someone to share the responsibility and the joy of raising a family together. And so There are times when parenting is just tough. You don't get a baby with a little roadmap to follow. And so there are times when you wonder, what's the best course of action here? Am I being too harsh? Am I being too soft? Should I be worried about this? And to fall asleep and not have someone to turn to and take your own big worries to, and get a hug and some reassurance and some validation that you're doing a good job, it could be pretty overwhelming at times. And know that learning how to take care of yourself and remind yourself of the fact that your kiddos don't want anyone else in their life to be their mom except you. This is a neat thing that we know about how neurochemistry of attachment works, is that parents, even adoptive parents, have the most power in the relationship with their young person. And so a piece that often comes along with single parenting is you get the good and the bad because you're the trusted other in your child's life. And so not only are you the person that gets to set the limits, you're also the person that gets the blast because you're setting the limits. And often you're the one that might have the closest emotional connection to your kiddos as well. So even though they might have a complicated relationship with another parent or just friendships, it's usually the single mom that is the one that's helping the little person that's sobbing at nighttime or trying to find a voice to stand up for what they need. And so I give an extra special shout out to single moms because I know it's a tough job. And lastly, I've got this beautiful orange rose here to say happy birthday to my own mom. So I have an orange one because she's kind of a spunky, spicy, fiery lady. And there are lots of things that my mom has modeled to me and shown me, and no parent is perfect. That's part of what we need to just realize. I'm gonna mess up, possibly every day, and how do I become accountable for what I've done? How do I be honest? I'm a human being, I make mistakes. And how do I also show up unconditionally to let my kids know that I love them? And so that most definitely encapsulates a lot of who my mom is. She's someone that has taught me to be, have a voice, to be independent, to care about lots of things, to have passion, to value family and sacrifice a ton to make sure kids feel loved and making sure they get the supports and things that they need so that they can thrive. And she's silly and super quirky and always did dance parties and things like that. And I would say what I've noticed just even through the pandemic is that when I get on the phone call with my mom, her voice is very perky and she's doing these things to stay in shape and stay connected to people. And she finished the Brain Story, which is this really neat certification that you can do if you want to learn about child development and addiction and long-term impacts of trauma. And she's finished it and I'm still on module 9. So I'm proud of her, but I also feel I need to sit down and do it. And so there's a resilience to my mom that I think is a neat model that has helped me if I'm ever feeling kind of low. I think, holy crow, look at all the stuff my mom's been through. And yet she still has such a positive attitude and is such a good and kind person. She's a nice person to try and emulate and strive to be close to. So Mom, this rose is for you. And I have not put a Mother's Day card in the mail yet. It's Friday, so it probably will get there next week. So this is the precursor to the Mother's Day extravaganza that's coming your way, no doubt. And I thought it would be really important to offer people something that you could take with you. And most definitely, if you find yourself, as I think all parents do at times, feeling guilty about things that you did or didn't do, or dwell on your own imperfections as a human and how genetically or because of who you are, you see these things popping up in your children. Coming from a place of feeling less than, coming from a place of feeling defeated doesn't help us show up as our best self, which our kids need to see us blooming in our full form. And so the invitation would be to do this, to write a letter to yourself that you read and reread and reread when you need to be compassionate and kind and loving to that part of you that is really self-deprecating and not being helpful in letting you know that what you're doing is out of love and that everybody makes mistakes and you're so not alone. If you are a single parent or co-parenting with someone who is a challenge, to just have open communication with, I would highly suggest you take some time to write a letter of self-compassion, so that if you get an email that kind of gets your blood boiling, or yet another story comes home from a visit that really feels like it's not in the best interest of your kids, instead of how did I do this, why is this person in my life, all those things that we could do to remind yourself that you're doing the best that you can and that you're modeling healthy relationships to your kids, and that everybody makes mistakes, and at the end of the day, being a good person and showing your values consistently lets your kids know what's important. And it's not what we say that really leaves a mark on people, it's how we show up. It's our feet. So it's the behaviors that we show consistently, and to be understanding to yourself and remind yourself that everyone can get into it's part of being a human. Unfortunately, if you're born on this planet as a human, you are got imperfections. So reminding yourself that everyone makes mistakes and you're not alone with it, and these feelings don't last forever. And so putting energy into feeling guilty doesn't serve anybody. So what do you need to do to pivot and shift it into something more positive? And that no matter what, that you love yourself unconditionally. And take some time to write this letter of self-compassion. I sort of envision it being on like really nice paper with like rose petals in it, and so that you can unfold it and read it to yourself when you need that little pick-me-up, so that you've always got it kind of in your back pocket when you need it. I hope this weekend that you get to celebrate as families in whatever way works with quarantine, to say thank you to the women in your life that have helped to raise you and to mentor you and to wipe away tears and teach you how to be your best self, because everyone deserves to feel good on the inside, and our planet needs everyone to be able to show up as the best version of themselves. We all deserve it. Until Monday, may you have a fantastic weekend. Breathe. Hopefully you get to breathe in a rose and be well. Bye, Mom. I love you.